Will Arya try to take out Beric and Ser Jorah in Season 8?
Shut your mouth.
These seem like two distinct topics, but they're actually related, pretty closely related. So in the show version of the story, Arya added Beric and Dareon, Thoros and Myr, and Melisandre to her list, cause Beric and Thoros sold Gendry to Melisandre so that Melisandre could try to convince Stannis to burn Gendry. At the same time that Arya stopped saying the Hound, she stopped saying Mel, Beric, and Thoros. My logic's that they're not on her list in the book, so she's probably not going to kill any of them in the show, so the showrunners just had their names and faces fade from her lustful vengeance. Basically, memories that are tied to extreme emotions, they don't fade. Don't get me wrong, selling Gendry was bad, it really was, and it was emotional for her, but it doesn't compare to crimes that people like Cersei, Joffrey, Tywin, and Walder Frey committed. However, YouTuber JBiz525 brings up a good point. A point that directly relates to another small topic that I had been working on. Will Arya try to kill Jorah? That sounds crazy, right? Why would she want to kill Jorah? There's a reason I asked this. So in the books, Maester Aemon does not die up at the Wall, and Samwell Tarly does not take a ship all the way down to Horn Hill. Instead, Sam, Gilly, Mance Rayder's baby, Maester Aemon, and a black brother called Dareon, they all sail down together. Jon sent Dareon out as a replacement for our boy Yoren. Darion's mission was to sing songs to make the Night's Watch seem like a fun place, or at least an honorable place. Basically, Jon wanted Dareon to con people in order to get some new recruits for the Night's Watch. So they're all traveling south by ship, and there's a storm. They pit stop at Braavos, and Maester Aemon gets very sick there. He eventually dies, but for a while he's just sick, and Sam is trying to take care of him. Meanwhile, Dareon is just loving life, for the first time in a long time. Because he's a good-looking dude, he can sing, so he's on the up and up, hanging out at brothels, sleeping with girls, and he's making money. Keep in mind, it's implied that Dareon was wrongfully imprisoned at the Wall. This guy right here, this is Dareon in the show, but they gave his backstory to Pip. Let's check it out.
I'll never see my family again. I'll never be inside a woman again. Just don't tell me about Faye.
It's not the exact same thing, but it's the same concept. Dareon was wrongfully imprisoned at the Wall. So now he's down in Braavos and he thinks of himself as a free man. He's like, 7 hells, I ain't going back. This pisses off Sam, since Dareon had said his vows. Many book readers hate Dareon too. I don't respect him, but I've stepped in his shoes and I feel bad for him. I mean, I get it. He's ignoring Maester Aemon, who is sick and dying. But Darion's just a kid, and he was wrongfully imprisoned at a wall full of questionable dudes.
I got one. Right through the heart, he's dead.
Is it over? Well then.
There's a horde of wildlings attacking, there's a dead army attacking. So personally, I can forgive him for what he did. He's just human, and he was finally free, as he always should have been. On top of that, he was doing some good for the world. Maester Aemon said that his voice was like honey poured over thunder. People loved his music, he was putting smiles on people's faces, he was bringing light to their days, until he met Arya Stark. So she runs into him, and you know how the Starks roll. They take off the heads of deserters. So she did just so. Arya killed him, and then she stole his boots, even though she never walked in his shoes. Which brings us to Season 8.
Father wanted to execute me, you know.
I heard.
He was in the right, of course. Didn't make me hate him any less.
A royal pardon. You can go home now.
What's this?
A royal pardon. Signed by Robert Baratheon.
Why did the usurper pardon you?
You spied on her.
Have you told her?
I wanted to tell you first, man to man. Rather than go behind your back.
You told them I was carrying Drogo's child?
Aye.
Yes or no?
Khaleesi.
Don't call me that. Did you tell them I was carrying Drogo's child?
Let me speak with her in private.
You'll never be alone with her again.
Yes.
You sold my secrets to the man who killed my father
I have
and
protected
stole my
you,
brother's throne.
fought
You
for
want
you,
me to
killed for
forgive you.
I have loved
Go
you.
back to your masters in King's Landing. Collect your pardon, if you can.
And we already know that Jon has forgiven Jorah for his crimes.
I'm glad he didn't catch you.
Me too.
No one hates slavery more than Dany, and Dany eventually forgave Jorah for selling slaves, among other things. But what about Arya? Like we just went over with Dareon, Arya carried out the duties of the Lord of Winterfell in the books. She did what Ned would have done. So will Arya try to do the same thing with Ser Jorah Mormont? I don't think so, but if there's any drama between them, now you know why. And the same thing applies to Beric. Arya did not say his name the last time that she said the list, but as Jabez525 pointed out, Melisandre and Beric did the same thing as Jorah.
You still mad at us, boy? You sold me to a witch, a priestess.
I don't know if Robb Stark died because of the Red Woman's sorcery or because at war men die all the time, but I do know that uniting the 7 kingdoms with blood and magic is wrong. It is evil, and you are not an evil man.
I will punish them with any arms at my disposal.
You do not need to burn the boy. His name's Gendry. He's a good lad.
The boy must die.
It's slavery, and slavery is no bueno. At the end of the day, though, I don't expect them to spend time on this Jorah subplot, at least not in the show. I kind of do expect it in the books, though. So, what about Arya and Beric?
Don't trust him.
And the last thing their lord told them to do was sell me to a red witch to be murdered.
I don't think we're going to see any drama between Arya and Beric either, because Gendry and Beric already resolved that. They already crossed by the wall that stood between them.
We don't want to go beyond the wall, we have to.
And now's the time for change.
Here. Could have been worse.
She wanted to kill me. But they would have killed me if it wasn't for Davos.
They didn't, did they?
Lightbringer.
We're all on the same side. How can we be?
We're all breathing. And now everything is going to change. It is. Why now? Because now, I am Lord Commander of the Night's Watch.